Oh, cool. We're good?
Hola.
Is it
We're good. Erica.
Hello, hello. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. Clara,
okay? Oh, we're live? Okay.
yes.
Okay. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good day, good afternoon, good evening. Just depends on when you are watching us. I would like to welcome you to Millennial Talk Tuesday. My name is Clara Lyons Devon out of New Jersey, and I am your anchor for today. We want to give a shout out to Miss Letitia Grant, our chair of House in the Car, and Miss Stephanie Milburn, the manager of House in the Car. They've done a phenomenal job putting together this platform where young and new homeowners can share about their home buying journey. So I'm excited that you are all joining us today. If you go to our House in the Car website, you can find our Realtist ambassadors. And those are real estate professionals who are equipped to help millennials, Gen X folks, and everyday folks get through the process of purchasing a property. You can get resources like pre-purchase counseling, credit tools like the FICO score estimator, and you can find down payment assistance programs. What is House in the Car? Just what it says. We want you to buy the house and then the car, because that's the order of investment for today. We'd also like to welcome our sponsor, Ms. Marlena Scott from Freddie Mac, and turn it over to our hosts, Ms. Erica Rawls and Ms. Leslie Seal. Take it away, ladies.
Thank you so much, Clara. And thank you everyone for watching. I'm so excited to be here with my co-host, Leslie. We have a special guest with us, two special guests. Before we actually started live today, we just had a great time. I felt like, oh man, these are some candid moments that I wish we could have shared. But we're going to try to do the best we can to bring it to the live audience right now. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Erica Rawls. I reside in the Central PA area. I'm a realtor as well as a member of NARAB, a realtist, and I'm excited to bring the show to you today. And Leslie, I'm going to allow you to go ahead and introduce yourself before we introduce our two special guests with us today.
My name is Leslie Ann Seal. I'm a realtor in New Jersey with Halo Realty. I'm also a proud realtist, member of National Association of Real Estate Brokers. And I'm just so pleased, especially today, to be on this show off the heels of such a momentous occasion, to sit here with such astounding women. As you know, we welcome in a woman vice president, to sit here as boss women ourselves and discuss how we can help influence our communities and uplift and benefit each other. So I'm pleased to be here with you all and love to introduce Model, if possible, if you'd like to say a few words.
Yes. Well, good evening, afternoon to everyone. I'm excited. Like Erica has said, we had a few moments there before when we were talking together, and I was expressing my pride in all of you as young women, young realtors and realtors. I've belonged to this organization longer than some of y'all have been born. I am from the San Antonio chapter. I have been a member of NARAB for over 20 years. So many exciting things have happened throughout the years. And as women, as Black women, as Black families progress in home ownership, that does my heart a lot of pride because I love real estate. I love working with people. That's one of the things that has been a pleasure for me for the most of my life. And I love seeing Black families go into a home. In my younger years in real estate, my proudest moment in a transaction is handing a young family the keys to their new home. Now, because I'm a person that talks on and on and on, I'm going to cut myself short so that y'all can go on with your program. But again, this has been a wonderful experience, and I am so, so very proud of my granddaughter, Raven Nicole Black.
We are so excited for her to be here. Raven, she's just starting the home buying process. And Raven, give us a little bit of information about yourself before we go right into it. But like I said, we had a great time before the live started. So just share some of that great stuff that you are sharing with us behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So first off, thank everybody for having me. I'm really excited to be here. For starters, my name is Raven. I am the granddaughter to Miss Mondell that we have here on the line with us. I currently work for a company called Granger. I'm an account manager. I manage about 250 accounts in the manufacturing industry. I just graduated in December with my bachelor's degree in human resource management, and I am a mother of a 3-year-old. And I am 24 years old. I just turned 24 in October. And I am in the beginning phases of getting ready to sign on the dotted line and commit my life away to owning a home. So I'm excited to be here.
Congratulations.
That is
Awesome.
great. That is great. And that's a great segue for sure. So how did you get to this point? Like, what was the mind shift for you to know that you need to get into home ownership?
Well, the mind shift for me, knowing that I needed to get into home ownership, is I've been living in an apartment complex, multiple apartment complexes for a few years now. And it really just kind of grinds me in a sense where I know that I'm putting all this money into something that I'm never going to own. I'm never going to get any equity out of. It's never going to pay me back what I paid it. So that was kind of the starting point for me to say, okay, look, let's get everything in line from A to Z. Let's, dot your I's, cross your T's, and find out exactly what would be the best option for you right now. And of course, since the pandemic, things have changed, but it was really just kind of seeing how much money was being thrown away into renting. So that's what changed me.
Yeah, that's the key for a lot of people. And I'd be remiss of me not to allow Marlena to give a little insight to her background as well, because she is a plethora of information. So just to piggyback on what you're saying, Marlena, please tell us a little bit about yourself and then and what you actually do.
Thank you, Erica and Raven. I'm so happy, and I can't wait to build out this conversation we're having today, because I'm already inspired and I love your energy. So I manage the relationship with real estate professionals across the country, and NAREB being one of my partners that I work with. And so our goal is to really help homeowners or future home buyers become home owners. And we do this by talking about our affordable products, tools, and resources that are available. A lot of people don't know exactly what products are available, and to dispel some of the myths that are out there, the myth around 20% down. A lot of first-time homebuyers don't necessarily have that to put down. So one of our products, of course, that we're going to probably get into later on, but it's about, it's 3% down. It matches more with how the growing population is moving. And just really quickly, I want to just talk about, this is so much broader than Raven. Your story is so many other people's stories. And I really think having this platform really helps us get this information out there. Right now in the country, there's 2.9 million African Americans that are mortgage ready. And so they need to know what solutions are available. So that really is the passion behind what I do. And then especially with being the millennials, you guys need to know what's available as well. And so you're taking the right steps. But that's really my role, is education on what is available out there.
Yeah, Marlena, could you please say that again? Because you just went right by that, but that was some great information there. Yes.
I wrote it down.
How many?
2.9 million.
2.9 million African American millennials are mortgage ready out there, and
they know it.
Yeah, no, they don't know it, and that's the thing. And one more thing: so millennials in general are making up to 38% of first-time home buyers, but 49.8 million millennials are going to be form a household by 2035. So imagine that impact of being African American and millennial. It's out there. And I think we just need to make sure that we're providing education, which is why I love House in the Car, Millennial Talk Tuesday.
Yeah, and then Raven, you are going to be in that number, 2035. You're going to be part of that number because you're taking the right steps to get to home ownership. So that is great. And I love the fact that you have brought out, and I think this might be the red flag for most people. When you start looking at that rent payment and it's painful to write the check to the landlord,
Yep.
you're just like, okay, wait a minute. Maybe I need to rethink some things because they get more money than I am. Right? No matter what, they're going to make sure that they get their money. You're paying for their mortgage. So why not?
Exactly.
So why not? Why not? So then you have your grandmother that's actually leading your charge, which that is a huge benefit. Like, yeah, I'm trying not to get all emotional because, oh my goodness, I can't wait till I'm the age where I can actually help my grandchildren to purchase a home. So how does she influence you with that? And then Miss Maudel, if you could just interject too, like how does she influence you with saying, yes, you are ready?
I would say it's kind of stemmed, it didn't just start happening now. This is something that she's kind of structured and instilled in me from, maybe time that I can understand. And I've always kind of recognized the passion that my grandmother has for real estate. So why not embrace it myself? And I think that the easiest way to learn how to do something and to be a part of something is to completely submerge yourself in it. And how do I look not submersing myself in real estate when I've got not one point of contact, but also my mother who's also in real estate also that I can go to as far as the second point of contact. So for me, it's really just making sure that, I do it right the first time and then I learn from it. That way going forward, whenever I don't have, immediate contacts to depend on or to rely on or to pick up the phone and call and say, hey, how does this go? How does that go? At least I know where to go, what routes to take, what paths to go down, and how to recognize red flags. And I'm sure that my grandma's going to have something to say after that also.
Well, I would say this, she comes from a family of realtors. My real estate career started years and years ago when my mother, I guess you would say the first real estate entrepreneur, inherited property. I was going to school for criminal justice and my mother inherited property. I turned around, I got into real estate. When I found out that my love of real estate, it went on to my daughter, I'm a real estate broker. My daughter's a real estate agent, and my other two granddaughters will be in real estate. She hasn't mentioned it yet, but she is a future realtor slash realtist, even with her degree in human resources. We're just a family of real estate people. So she has the background. It's not hard for her to segue into home ownership, leading as grandmother, mother, and so forth. Home ownership first, and then real estate investments. So that's our hope and our dream for our family. So,
and I think that's so powerful. That's a definition of building generational wealth, right? So you're passing that knowledge down and you're expanding that out. So I applaud you guys. Thank you for sharing.
I was going to say, I definitely want to applaud you, Miss Maudel. Truly, this is an extremely important example to be seen, on a global platform, just to see the importance of making generational wealth a priority and having a plan as a family of how we're going to sustain ourselves and how we're going to make sure that, we have a legacy that continues on for generations. And not many of us take time to think about legacy and legacy building. So, to see and hear of such a wonderful family where you have several generations of realtors and realtists who are dedicated to the homeownership process, not only for themselves for investment purposes, but also just to be able to help other people find homes. Think of all the people and families that will have homes just because Ms. Maudel said, I'm going to follow in my mother's footsteps and made that decision. So, it's wonderful for me to see. And I think it's such an extraordinary example on a platform just like this, to see the generations and the differences and just the beauty of a plan. This is how other families and other races build wealth. These are the discussions that they have. This is how they raise their children. So, you should be very, very proud of yourselves. Raven, you're an extraordinary example of what young women should be doing with themselves. And, I'm just applaud you, despite, having to deal with school and graduating, you have a newborn, and you are still well on your way to accomplishing your hopes and dreams involving real estate. So it's awesome to see.
Yeah, that is awesome. So what are some of the expectations that you had starting? Now, I know that you probably had a better understanding of what to expect even before you started because of the foundation that you have with your family. But what were some of the expectations that you were expecting? And then what were some of the things that weren't as you expected? Just to talk to some of your millennials, just so they can prepare.
Okay. So some things that I kind of had high expectations on is I grew up in a, a nice home, two-bedroom household. I'm sorry, a two-story household. And I was thinking, once I got out on my own and once I reached of age and I started working, that was going to be my house too. I was going to transition right from a two-story to another two-story of my own.
Yeah.
And so I had the bar set way too high as far as expectations on a home go. I didn't know that they come in small sizes, medium sizes, and large sizes. I thought that everybody's house was huge. Everybody had a game room. I thought that that's how it was. So whenever I actually got into the process of getting ready to find a home and I was taken to some of the homes that I can actually afford, I was like, wait, hold on. This doesn't look anything like how I imagined it in my head. And unfortunately, that was kind of like the reality where I was like, okay, now that you see what you can get out there and what's in your price range and what's in your market. And San Antonio, Texas is a great place to buy a home. We've got the land. It's not super expensive as far as, compared to different other states, especially up north. So it's really, really fortunate that I'm put in a position where I do have the experience. I've got the education of it. But one thing that I just did not expect is that I was going to have to get into a house that was in my price range. I didn't know that existed. I had no idea. And I guess some of the things that I knew to expect just from, having my grandmother and my mom is, like you mentioned, the down payment and down payment assistant programs that you go through, and contracts that are binding, two people into a house, and the commitment that goes into it. So those were things that I was able to actually prepare myself for and to expect. But again, like I mentioned, that kind of like that flash that hit my face was whenever I wasn't going to move out of a really nice house to another really nice house, and I was going to have to work my way up to it, as far as financials go. So that's definitely something that caught me off guard. But if I can speak to my other millennials, I would definitely, you plan, you plan for anything and everything. And, we like to say that we keep money aside for a rainy day. Well, my rainy day fund turned into my I'm buying a house fund. It wasn't for a rainy day anymore. It went to, this is how much money you're going to allocate to purchasing a home. This is how much you're going to put down, and just understanding the phonetics and the functions of it first before you price shop, before you shop for the house. So that's where I messed up. I went shopping first without understanding there's a price tag behind these houses.
That sticker price.
Yep,
that sticker price. Yeah. It's interesting because a lot of people say, I want it, I want it without weighing the cost. So I think it's great that you're bringing that up as a point for people to consider the small, medium, and large. What does McDonald's has? We'll supersize it.
Exactly.
We're in a supersized environment where people want to max up immediately. And I think house and the car, that's what it's about. People want, the Mercedes, they want the Bentley, they want the car, and not realizing that car could be a down payment for their home, or that car could be part of their mortgage payment, and they would get a return on their money. Marlena, does Freddie Mac have stats about the number of homeowners who are, in the generation that buy, it's their first time buying, say at, in the generation of people in their family? I guess, do you understand the question that I'm thinking about? I'm not articulating it quite well.
I'm not piecing it very well. So, but what I can tell you, so back to down payment really quickly. So I just want to talk about this, the down payment piece of it. And I want to get to, and I'm sure Eric will probably ask about budgeting for how you're planning for your down payment and everything. But I just want to say, so for example, African Americans, it takes 15.4 years to save for 20% down, 3.8 years for 5% down. 2.3% year, or 2.3 years, excuse me, for 3% down. So when you're thinking about, when you're going to get your home and how much down payment you have, those numbers are quite astounding. And that's why we have to, again, dispel the 20% myth, because who wants to wait 15 years? And millennials, we like it now. So we're not going to wait 15 years for that. So it's definitely an opportunity to, really understand what it is that how much you want to pay towards or go down towards your home. But those numbers in general are pretty astounding, when it comes down to how long it actually takes for this. So I'll let Erica probably follow up with some other questions, but I wanted to point that out very quickly.
Yeah, so I was excited to hear that you were foregoing short-term pleasures for long-term gain, Raven, because when I heard you say that, that you were saving, you were starting to save, most people, when we talk to them on this platform, they're like, well, that was, they had to learn that the hard way, but it sounds like you went in with a plan. Thankfully, because of your grandmother and your mom, they gave you the foundation to do it. So did you actually have an actual budget? Because when you say budget, people do get a little like, oh, well, I have a checking account and I have some money in my savings. Yeah, but do you account for every dollar? Does every dollar have a job? Or how are you setting yourself up to make sure that you're going to be successful, not only when you purchase your home, but afterwards as well?
Absolutely. And so it's a really good question because, like I mentioned, whenever I took the focus for my rainy day fund off of that and I put it towards my house, then what was I left with? Where did my rainy day fund go? So I got smart. I started thinking about other ways to earn income without exhausting myself because I already give 40 hours to my job a week. And, I'm a mom of a toddler, so there's no time to sit down and take any time for myself. This is probably the best that I've looked and since the pandemic has started. So there's no time for anything. So I started to invest, I started to put my money in stocks. And that way, while I'm sleeping, my money's making money for me. And, you can have
here. Yeah.
Exactly. And I love the fact that with stocks and stuff, it fluctuates, right? It fluctuates, but you can choose to decide to cut off for your own personal threshold. So as I budget, I don't think that every single dollar has a job or every single dollar has to be allocated to this particular thing or that particular thing, but I do like to know visually where my money is going. And with stocks, I know that it's returning on investment. It's paying me back what I put in. So at a certain time, I cap off and I pull that money out, and that becomes my rainy day. And either I can save that for a rainy day, or I can throw it back into stocks and let it make some more money for me. So
I love
this.
Okay, we're done.
Okay, Raven.
Ready? Can you teach this to everyone else? Seriously, I talk about this and my husband, he is really into the stocks and everything else. And so he takes on that and taught me a lot. But I think that's something we forget about is savings is not just putting into your checking. Savings is investing in your 401k, investing in the stock market. I mean, that make your money work for you is, I think, a valuable point. And I'm just like, oh,
I was going to say,
I got goosebumps, like literally I do.
It is so impressive, Raven, that you understand and have already implemented the concept of diversified investment portfolio. That's basically what you're building for yourself, is diversified investments. You want your hands in a lot of different pots while you're asleep. You want as much residual income as possible. And I don't know if your grandmother has mentioned, I'm a big proponent of, multi-unit properties. That's also another option that's for you, that's available, that could kind of assist you moving forward. You can purchase your first investment property, live in one half, rent out the other half, let that tenant carry the weight of the property, and then continue to play Monopoly. You see what I'm saying? And instead of trying to get your home first, maintain your home, and then build Monopoly from there can be a little bit more difficult. Whereas if you have your investment property, you can rent out both sides. And then you have the one tenant that carries the property. You have the other one that's giving you residual income. And now you can use that residual income to purchase your next property and so on and so forth. So you have the opportunity to think about your order of operations depending on what your end game is. And if the end game is to win Monopoly, you might want to consider rearranging how you start. So that way you're starting with an investment rather than starting with your primary residence. And by using your investment as your primary residence, I'm sure, Marlena, there's many products that can assist with down payment and as well as your interest rates, depending on your circumstances. And it seems you are very familiar with your finances. So I think, first of all, you need to be commended for your diversified investments. And I'm just so excited. I'm sure you must be proud, Marnell. This is excellent to hear.
Yes, yes. She's been talking finance since a very young age. So she's very good at handling.
Well, it speaks volumes to you and your family. It really does.
What do the young people say? Managing the coins? Is it coins?
Count those coins. Yes. Count those
about
coins.
your coins.
Call it whatever you want to call it, just as long as it pays and as long as it's free.
I know that's right. So now that you've done your home buying journey, what are the conversations you're now having with your friends?
So the conversations that I have with my friends, and it's oddly funny enough that I don't have a lot of people lining up in line to be my friend, but the ones that I do have, we all are on the same kind of like headstrong, money strong train. And obviously they go out and source their money and their income other places. And I think that it's also important to consider that just because I'm at this point in my life, my friend may not be, but why can't I have a conversation with her about what I got to, how I got to this point in time? And a lot of my friends, they're not mothers, so I can't speak to them about why it's so important for me to have a home, because I want my child to grow up, knowing that she has this space to be creative and, whatever she wants to do, or she can go outside and play safely without having to worry about any oncoming traffic or any, just anything that may potentially happen in an apartment complex or, a good school district. So when I have conversations with my friends that are usually around the whole home buying process, of course, everybody wants to know, well, what is it like? You get to go into the home, like you get to go inside of it and walk inside of it and see it. And yeah, I do. I luckily enough, I've got my grandma. So if something comes about, I'm like, well, can we go check this one out? And it's so funny, we were talking earlier today about like, coming from a family, and my daughter, she goes in these homes and she's got no idea why she's there. And she just runs around, but she doesn't know that, we're making the foundation for her right now. So when I talk to my friends, I say, even if you don't consider or you're not planning right now at the moment for your future, think about, the obstacles that life throws at you, and where do you want to be whenever you look back on this conversation 5 years from now? Were you there 10 years from now? Did you make it there or not? So the conversation is that don't let anything stop you. I'm sorry to say, but, to my men out there, but most of my friends are females. So I say, you don't have to wait on anybody to get you where you want to be. You go out there and you do it yourself, and then you welcome in whoever you want to welcome in. So, and that's unfortunately, that's the conversation that we have right now, is letting us know as millennials, as Black women, as mothers, non-mothers, is that we can go out and do things for ourselves. And, whenever we want to, we don't have to wait for the right person to come along to go and to do that. So our conversations right now are mostly based off of what can I do as your friend, as somebody who's already kind of been down this path, to help you get down that path too. And just be there as your unconditional support, because I've been there. I know what it's like. It's hard for me too. And if I could go back and do it without a kid, I definitely would, because I want to make sure that I have something for her instead of trying to build it and trying to get it with her. So that's the conversation that I usually have with my friends around home buying.
Right. Well, that part, sis. Look at this. She just got just a ball of everything, is she not? She's just a ball of everything. Extraordinary.
Well, you know what? It's funny because every time we do these, I always learn something, whether it's from the Millennial or the Realtist. And today I got a hats off to you, Raven. You did an amazing job. And it sounds like you have your head on straight, and you're doing the right things in the right order. And you're just a strong person. So I want to see you when we have our other segment, because I know it's going to be an extraordinary story just as well. And Miss Maudel, thank you so much, because I learned a lot from you just this little short time that we were together. I really did. I admire what you're doing with your granddaughter and your daughters, and your family just seems like they're just special people. So I really appreciate you sharing them with us today, get a little insight of your family today. So kudos to you, because she's a part of you.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
She's
Well,
a
all
part of
of
you.
you are part of me. Like I said, I'm proud of my granddaughter, but seeing y'all today, I am also very, very proud of what y'all are doing also.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Marlena, do you want to just back up with Rave? I know, big shoes to fill. I know, but you can do it. You have anything to say for us, or you're okay?
No, I just want to say I'm sorry. I missed I cut out a little bit. So I just want to say this has been great. And Raven, I mean, I'm on the older side of millennials, but you give, the younger millennials who sometimes get a bad rap as being so impatient, a little bit disorganized, but you just blew all of them out of the park. And I think it goes back to, I mean, you sitting there having conversations with your friends. It's about, I always say this, but it's about building greatness around you. And those who don't want to be great will eventually weed themselves out. And they're going to appreciate what you bring to the table as far as your knowledge, especially when it comes to home ownership. And, I wish I had friends like that, growing up, because your home ownership is really a huge part. And that's why it's so important in these kind of conversations and doing what we're all doing on a regular basis, because we really want to, address and increase and close that home ownership gap that the African American community has, and you are a pillar of starting that. So thank you for that.
Yes, Leslie.
I just wanted to say, obviously, I'm just so impressed with Ms. Maudel and your family, just the legacy that you are continuing, and Raven, that you're continuing even in this moment. I mean, you are literally showing your daughter with each home that you bring her into what the process is. And and she's going to fully understand. And if this is where you are, I can't even imagine where she will be as she grows older and older. She will just be that much more intelligent, that much more astute and understanding. And just even your concept of everyone not being in the same place at the same time, but having the grace to and the wisdom to want to explain it and to provide access to the information for those who are willing. I think that that's an extraordinary, personality trait, and it's a sign of being a true leader. So, I think that there's only great things in store for you and your family, and we've been blessed to have you all here. And thank you again, Marlena, for joining us. This is always exciting. Tuesdays are great, and off the heels of such a momentous occasion to have such an astounding, bright woman sit here with us to give us such information. It was just the best Millennial Talk Tuesday we could have had. So I'm excited.
Yes. Clara, you want to bring us home?
I'm sitting over here and I'm just
Can you?
I get so inspired, and that's, House in the Car, Millennial Talk Tuesday is all about. It's really about inspiration, the possibility for people to see that it is possible that other people who look like me, who are the same age as me, who are the same gender as me. We've had both men and women on the show. That it is possible to purchase home. It is possible to pass that legacy down to, your children, that knowledge to your children. It's possible to pass that information to your friends and empower them and give them information that, there are things out there that are available, that we have people, organizations like Freddie Mac, where Marlena works, where you can do a 3% down payment program, that you don't need 20%, that all of the myths that we think about, the mama bear. Now you've got this story in my head, Raven, the baby bear. What is it? The three little bears. Remember that story?
Uh-huh. Three little bears.
And it's too hot, too cold, just right. That there's a just right home for everybody. There's a just right property for everybody. And all you have to do is continue to taste the porridge, but to put yourself out there and to put yourself in position to be able to move to that next step. So, in the chat, the hearts are going up. I applaud you. Raven. You are a phenomenal young woman. You are a woman of the generation 2000. This is what the 2000 woman looks like. And Ms. Maudel, just applaud you as a businesswoman, having your own real estate company and passing your information in real estate on to the people in your family. And we're all part of the NARAB family. So I just, again, want to shout out to the National Association of Real Estate Brokers for giving us this platform, the House in the Car platform, where you can get the resources, and I'll recap them: the pre-purchase counseling, the credit tools for FICO score estimator, the down payment programs. Go to the website, houseinthecar.com, get the information. Join us again next week, where we're going to do home ownership changed my life. So the people who are getting ready, and Raven, you'll be on that show next because you will be a homeowner here very shortly. And you can also go to NAREB.com. So NAREB is where the public can learn more about the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, the programs and activities that our current president, Mr. Donnell Williams, and his initiatives that are increasing the overall percentage of Black homeowners across the nation. As Marlena said, we are a force to be reckoned with. There are quite a few people who are ready, financially ready, who look like you and I to purchase a home. So we just want to encourage you, inspire you, and give you the tools to do that. So we invite you to come back, check us out again live next Tuesday on House in the Car Facebook page. And we will be doing Homeownership Changed My Life at 2 p.m., same time, Eastern Standard Time. And we just thank you for joining us today. Thank you to my co-host, Ms. Erica Waltz, phenomenal as always. Ms. Leslie Ann Seals, thank you. Ms. Maudel, Ms. Marlena, and Ms. Raven, I just want to check you out in a couple of years because I know you're going to be a boss queen doing big things. So thank you. Thank you for joining us. Yeah.
Thank you. My Tuesday.
Thank you for watching. Until next time, we'll see ya.
See you later.
Bye-bye.